Hello everybody, my name is Pastor Paul Carter.
I'm Pastor Jody Cross.
And we would like to welcome you to First Baptist Church Orillia. We understand that for a lot of you, your first visit is going to be online. And we want to make the website a useful and helpful experience and tool for you. So we want to guide you through that. But ultimately, we would hope that you would visit us in person.
Yeah, the best way to get to know us is to be with us, worship with us. We meet at 9:30 in the morning at our First Baptist campus and at 11 in the morning at our Redeemer City Church campus.
If you do get the chance to visit us in person, make sure to go into Guest Central. In Guest Central, you're going to find people who know everything about the church and who can help you find ways to connect, whether in service or whether in fellowship. They'll let you know what the church has available for your family. One of the things we're going to talk about in a minute is how we are multi-generational by design, which means we have opportunities to connect in micro-community across the entire span of ages. And we would just encourage you to get to know the folks in Guest Central because they can help you find your place to connect at this church.
30 seconds, someone wants to know what's the heartbeat of our church, what makes us tick. What would you say to that person?
Well, I'd say first of all that there are lots of good churches, and what they have in common tends to be far more significant than their differences. But when we self-identify and when we self-describe, we tend to talk a lot about word ministry. This is a church where we really do believe that God has spoken, that when the Bible speaks, God speaks. And so we take God's word very seriously. We try to be humble and contrite. We try to tremble before the word of God. That shows up in a lot of ways. It shows up in the fact that we have 40-minute sermons, and we generally go verse by verse through books of the Bible. It shows up in the fact that we have small groups where people are unpacking the Bible in micro-community. It shows up in the fact that we have a very high percentage of our congregation tracking with a shared Bible reading journey. And so that shows up in a lot of ways. And I think probably people would identify that as a primary distinctive of our church.
And we've just come through an 8-week series called Basics, reminding us of some key truths of the Scriptures and the Christian faith. And we're excited actually to be in a series called Life Together, Part 2. Tell us about that.
We've been working our way through 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians. As Pastor Jody mentioned, we've taken a break in the middle to do kind of a merge lane series to get people up to speed called Basics. We're back into 2 Corinthians in just a couple weeks. I find myself regularly very thankful that the early church was as messed up as it was, because it provides a lot of opportunity for the Apostle Paul to offer pastoral correction and to explain to them how to follow God in community. And obviously that's exactly what we're trying to do. So it's been a very rich and very rewarding series, and we're enjoying it. I'm looking forward to being back in it.
Yeah. Word ministry is important. Give us another distinctive of this local congregation.
I think probably people would mention two other things. I think first of all, they probably talk a little bit about local mission. Like most other churches, we are very committed to global mission. We have a lot of really wonderful partners and very exciting projects around the world. But we feel a deep calling to the city of Orillia. We feel like God put us here for a reason, that we're not here by accident, that this is where we're planted. And like the Apostle Paul when he was speaking about Corinth, we feel that God has many people here. And that we're here to speak the word of God over them, and as the Spirit of God works within them, to draw them out and to draw them into God's people. And so whether it's Family Circle or whether it's Recover or James 1:27 or some of the other things that we do to reach out into the local neighborhoods, we really feel a strong call to this local context. I think the third thing that people would probably mention about us, or notice about us anyway, is that we are multi-generational by design. We think of the church as kind of a family of families, and therefore we think it's extraordinarily important that a family have great-grandmas right down to babies. So we have lots of babies in the nursery, and we also have a very thriving ministry to seniors and everything in between. And that impacts everything we do and all the decisions we make as a church. Pastor Jody, as the worship leader at the church, tell us how that even impacts the way you plan services.
Sure. We love to use music that I would call familiar, which is the songs that everybody knows and loves. And we love music that's fresh, new songs that are being written, some songs that we actually have written ourselves, and songs that are fixed, in the history of the church, in the hearts of people, great hymns of the faith. So that's represented in the kind of songs we pick, we sing. And we love when young and old come together to express their passionate praise, loving God with their minds, loving God with their hearts, loving God with their bodies, and coming together, gathering as Hebrews chapter 10 encourages us together to encourage one another, young and old. It's exciting to see what God's doing here, and there's a place for you to connect. So someone's coming, how would they connect in a tribe like this?
Well, assuming that your first visit is on the website, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video, first thing I would suggest that you do is go to the website. Probably your best option is to maybe watch a bit of a service online. We have a tab on the website that you can connect. It says Watch Services Live. You can click on that. You get a sense of what a service looks like, what the music is like, what the congregation is like, what the spirit is like, what the word ministry is like. And that probably would be very helpful for you. We have a number of people who watch services online, whether it's because they've gone away to school or whether it's because they're shut in or ill. But it's also a great way just to get a sense of the church before you visit. Also, there are tabs on the website that you can use to check out what small groups are available. There are tabs that you can use to find out what prayer groups are available. We have 10 prayer groups that meet every week. And sometimes there's no better way to know a church than to pray with some of its people. And so maybe that's the best way for you to get connected, to go to a prayer group. You can find out about that. There's always a list, a running scroll of the activities coming up in the week. You can check on that. There's stuff for children, youth, all the way up, as I said, to seniors. So the website can be a very, very useful tool, and it can usually point you in the direction of some useful and likely connections. But as we mentioned off the top, we'd love to have you with us. We'd love to have you come and worship with us, to sit with us, to talk to us in the lobby, to meet in Guest Central. And I'd love to get to know you and to shake your hand and know your name. And I know Pastor Jody would do the same. Down at RCC, we have our Redeemer City campus. We have great people there as well who would love to get to know you. So please do visit us, and we would sure look forward to seeing you then. God bless.
And I am called to love your word, called to live what I have heard. Take this heart and make it pure. How I love your word, and I will stand upon your truth, placing all my trust in you. All you've promised you